In my day job, I'm a teacher educator at a university in Switzerland. Their HR is a bit like the Death Star in Star Wars, whereby a meeting in which a HR person is present is synonymous with Darth Vader paying you a visit. Well, imagine my fear then when 6 years ago my own resources were expended and HR was called in. You see, for a long time, I believed I was a fundamental, indispensable core component, a good person for the machine. I was a loyal, hard-working, driven, ambitious, high-achieving cogwheel who kept turning even when the doo-doo hit the fan. And the contradiction is, you are told, as I am too, that we need to have work-life balance. But there is no work life. We have one life. But in our endeavour to find that balance, we find we become more unbalanced, and that is when the doo-doo really hits the fan. And according to Amy Morin, the author of 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do, she mentions characteristics unique to high achievers, which not only include imposter syndrome, success driven by hurt, anger and pain, but also burnout. And that's another characteristic of a high achiever that until very recently wasn't often mentioned and discussed. But the question is, what is burnout? Well, let's not confuse burnout with everyday stress, where we're still in control and are able to meet our commitments. Those suffering from burnout, however, are beyond caring. They have reached mental and physical exhaustion. Everyday tasks, creative thinking become really, really difficult. So, what are the stages of burnout? Well, Herbert Freudenberg, who also coined the term, identified these 12 phases. Now, some people go through all of these phases, as I did. Others may only go through some of these phases. Now, of course, I don't have time to go through all of them here, but some include a compulsion to prove oneself. Here, you have real ambition, and you want to show you're great for the job by doing whatever it takes to being acknowledged. There's also neglecting your needs. Work comes first. Your own needs are secondary. Sleeping, eating, seeing friends or family are just unnecessary distractions. And then there's a denial of emerging problems. You view others as incompetent, and becoming intolerable, you lose your temper easily, and boy oh boy can you become cynical. And then, of course, there's the obvious behavioural changes. You don't see the change, but others can see the change in you. You're not the person that you once were. And then there's depression. And here, a deep sense of helplessness sets in. Future. What future? There isn't one. In fact, by this stage, life has lost all sense of meaning. And then the final stage is burnout syndrome. And at this stage, people now have suicidal thoughts. And actually, some of these people carry it out. They've suffered the exhaustion and are mentally unable to continue and need immediate medical attention, as I did. And standing here today, I'm just wondering how many of you have burnt out or are on the way to burning out but don't know it's happening until it's too late. Well, surprisingly, I've always said that burnout was the best thing that ever happened to me because it allowed me to step back from my busyness for striving and ignoring the signs that were telling me to reassess my life. And I did, because out of the ashes came Burnout to Brilliance, my education and mentoring programs. And I guess the hardest lesson I learned was that as a human resource, I am dispensable. You see, you and I, we're all part of the machine. And like a cogwheel, when it breaks, we've got to be replaced. But the question is, how long can we keep replacing the best parts until they too run out? Thank you.